Poor black Maid stole Millionaire's Ferrari to save his son. What he did shocked everyone. Grace's gloved hands trembled as she adjusted the straps on little Ethan's sandals. The 5-year-old boy shifted weakly in his chair at the breakfast table, his eyes half closed, his usual chatter replaced by an eerie silence. "Ethan?" she asked gently. No answer. She reached out, touching his cheek. It was burning hot. "Sweetheart, can you hear me?" He blinked slowly, wobbled, and then, like a puppet whose strings had been cut, collapsed forward. "Ethan!" Grace jumped up, catching his limp body before it hit the ground. His skin was pale, lips slightly blue. His breathing was shallow, barely there. Her heart pounded violently in her chest. "No, no, no, no," she screamed for help. Nothing. The mansion was too big. The cook was in the guest house, and the head butler was out running errands. The emergency intercom, still under maintenance. Useless. She grabbed the phone and dialed the estate's emergency line. Voicemail. She called 911. They'd be there in 12 to 15 minutes. She looked down at the boy in her arms. He didn't have 12 minutes. Her eyes darted to the window. Outside, sitting like a sunlit trophy in the circular driveway, was the bright yellow Ferrari convertible, her boss's favorite. Nicholas Wexler, billionaire tech mogul, treated that car like a sacred object. No one was allowed near it, let alone inside it. But Ethan was dying. Without hesitation, Grace bolted. Her shoes slid over the marble floor as the rain began to fall. She laid Ethan gently across the passenger seat, buckled him in with trembling fingers, then threw herself into the driver's seat, still in her black and white uniform, dish gloves and all, and floored the gas pedal. The tires screamed against the gravel as the gates opened automatically for the car's license plate. She didn't care about the security cameras. She didn't care about the rules. All that mattered was saving him. Wind whipped through her hair as the Ferrari tore down the wet road, flying past cars, her hands white-knuckled around the wheel. But it wasn't her life on the line. It was his. Ethan lay slumped in the seat beside her, his small chest rising and falling too slowly. She kept glancing at him, one hand on the wheel, the other hovering nearby, trembling, as if her love alone could hold him here. "Stay with me, baby. Please, stay with me," she whispered, voice cracking with every word. She ran a red light, swerved past a truck, and nearly lost control on a sharp curve. Horns blared. Someone shouted. A car honked angrily. But Grace didn't slow down, because mothers aren't always the ones who give birth. Sometimes they're the ones handed a child through love and duty. And that's exactly what Ethan was to her. Back at the mansion, security cameras had caught the Ferrari racing off the estate. The staff were in a panic. The head butler called Nicholas Wexler, who was in the middle of a high-stakes board meeting downtown. "Sir, your Ferrari. It's been taken." Nicholas froze. "What? By who?" A pause. "Grace, sir, the maid." His phone nearly slipped from his hand. Grace? Quiet, careful Grace. The one who barely spoke unless spoken to. The idea seemed laughable. And yet, "Call the police," he barked. And they did. Back on the road, Grace's heart was thundering. The city skyline was visible now, the hospital drawing closer, but time was running out. Ethan convulsed suddenly in the seat beside her. "No!" she screamed, jerking the wheel. The Ferrari swerved dangerously. She grabbed his small hand, her own trembling. "Don't do this to me, Ethan. Don't give up now. We're almost there, baby. You hear me?" Tears streamed down her face. Her voice cracked. But she didn't stop. Sirens wailed in the distance, not behind her, ahead. She was close. The emergency entrance loomed in sight. She tore into the hospital driveway, the yellow Ferrari skidding to a screeching halt across 2 lanes. Doctors and nurses came running. Grace threw open the door. "He's not breathing. Help him." They sprang into action, carefully lifting Ethan's limp body from the car. One nurse paused, stunned by the sight of the woman behind the wheel. Still in a maid's uniform, yellow dish gloves still on, hands gripping the steering wheel like she was still driving. Then came the police. An officer arrived seconds later, weapon drawn, voice sharp. "Ma'am, step out of the vehicle. Hands where I can see them." She obeyed, slowly. Her legs buckled, her voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't steal it. I saved him." But it didn't matter. They cuffed her anyway, and as she stood on the curb, wrists bound, tears streaking her cheeks, she caught one last glimpse before they pushed her into the back of the police car. A nurse shouting, "If she hadn't brought him in when she did, we would have lost him." Nicholas Wexler stormed into the hospital moments later, fury coursing through his veins. He parked his Mercedes in a fire zone and stormed through the ER doors in a designer suit and $1,000 shoes, flanked by 2 private security guards. His voice boomed across the reception desk. "Where's my son?" The nurse looked up, instantly recognizing him. "He's in trauma room 2. Doctors are working to stabilize him. He wasn't breathing when he came in." Nicholas's jaw clenched. "Who brought him?" She hesitated. "Your maid, Grace." He froze. "Where is she now?" The nurse looked uncomfortable. "In custody, holding area." Nicholas didn't say another word. He stormed down the hall, ignoring the rules, protocol, and the voices trying to stop him. But when he reached the glass outside trauma room 2, the fury drained from his face. Inside, Ethan lay on a hospital bed, small and fragile, oxygen tubes in his nose, heart monitors beeping steadily beside him. A nurse gently rubbed his chest. A doctor hovered near his side, checking vitals, giving quiet instructions. His son looked pale, wax-like, but he was alive. Nicholas pressed a hand to the glass. His voice fell to a whisper. "Oh my God." Moments later, a doctor emerged and spotted him. "You Mr. Wexler?" He nodded. The doctor gave a small nod in return. "He had a sudden respiratory collapse. We believe it was a rare allergic reaction, extremely fast, very aggressive." Nicholas swallowed hard. If he'd arrived even 5 minutes later. He didn't finish the sentence. Nicholas felt his mouth go dry. "But he's going to be okay?" he asked quietly. The doctor nodded. "Because someone got him here just in time." Nicholas turned from the glass, and for the first time that morning, he wasn't angry. He was afraid, and then ashamed. They led him down the corridor to a side room where Grace sat, hands still cuffed behind her back. Her eyes were red, puffy. Her uniform clung to her with sweat and dust. The yellow gloves were gone. She sat hunched over like a prisoner awaiting judgment. She looked up when he entered. For a long moment, neither of them said anything. He didn't see a maid anymore. He saw the woman who had carried his son through death's door in a car she wasn't even allowed to look at, let alone drive. "I didn't mean to steal it," she said quietly. He stopped breathing. I panicked. I called, but no one picked up. The ambulance was too far. I didn't know what else to do." Nicholas didn't interrupt. "I buckled him in. I didn't drive recklessly. I talked to him the whole way. I swear, I didn't mean—" "Stop," he said softly. She blinked. "You saved him." Her breath caught. Is he okay?" Nicholas nodded. "Because of you." Grace broke down in tears. Nicholas turned to the officers. "Take the cuffs off." "Sir, we—" He cut them off with a look. They hesitated, then obeyed. Grace rubbed her wrists, stood shakily. If you want to fire me, I understand." Nicholas looked at her for a long time. Then he said the last thing she ever expected to hear. "I'm not firing you." Grace looked up, stunned. "I'm promoting you." By the next morning, the story had exploded across every platform. Maid saves millionaire's son with Ferrari hospital. Run real-life hero housekeeper risks all to save child. Maid cuffed after rescue until billionaire stepped in. That evening, Nicholas held a press conference on the hospital steps. Cameras flashed. Reporters jostled for space. Beside him stood Grace, now wearing a simple black dress, her hair neatly tied back. Nicholas didn't read from a script. He spoke from the heart. "I built a billion-dollar company on the belief that all decisions should be calculated and strategic," he began. "But yesterday, a woman in my home made the most important decision of her life. Not with strategy, but with love." He paused. "She broke the rules, but she saved my son." He turned toward Grace. "And I will never forget that." Grace looked down, tears brimming again. Nicholas faced the crowd. "As of today, Grace Williams is no longer a maid in my house. She is now Ethan's full-time caregiver and the head of our new Child Wellness Foundation." Gasps rippled through the press. "But that's not enough," he continued. "I've also donated $5 million to launch the Grace Initiative, a national program supporting emergency response training for household staff. Because every second matters, and no one should be punished for saving a life." Reporters erupted with questions, but Nicholas raised his hand for silence. "If you have someone cleaning your floors or watching your children, and you think they're beneath you, you are the one who needs help. I nearly lost my son before realizing the most important person in his life wasn't sitting in my boardroom. She was standing in my kitchen." The moment went viral. In the weeks that followed, Grace's life transformed. She was given her own apartment near the Wexler estate, a car, and a position with real authority. She helped design Ethan's new homeschool curriculum and became an outspoken advocate for working women and emergency preparedness across the state. And Ethan, he never stopped asking for Miss Grace, because to him, she wasn't just the maid. She was the woman who drove through fear, judgment, and sirens just to save him. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from every one of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.